Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Hi, I'm Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor, and I miss you guys. It's been a couple of weeks, maybe a little bit more. Well, I miss you, and we're going to get right into our book, the book, Every Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. I'm going to stick to the subject, and I'm going to get some of the book in, and I'm just going to go on and go to one of our chapters because I've missed. We're going to start with chapter, was that chapter 1 that I thought I was speaking into the introduction, but let me get to chapter 1. Here we go. What's happening to my hair is the big question of the day, and with many women who are suffering from hair problems. They just want to know what's happening to my hair. I feel like this is a video. There we go. Oops. Now, oops. All right. I think that might be better. Okay. Now, when we think about, and then we're on the book, Every Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair at Any Age. But when we think about aging and our hair aging, it's really a little difference. And one of the things I wanted to say to you in this chapter, I want you to learn more about how your personality relates to your hair, and about how personal life changes and challenges can cause you to, as you age, can cause you to make certain choices as it relates to your hair. Because, as we get older, we get freer as it relates to our hair. I mean, when we were children, our parents, our moms told us what to do with our hair. And then we went to the salon, and we had someone kind of telling us. But then we kind of got involved, and we started saying, well, you know what? I want color. I want this. I want to grow natural. I want to relax. Whatever we wanted to do, we kind of just took over and did it. Well, we also have to look at why we were making those particular choices. So one of the things that I discovered in my research and in working with thousands of patients year after year after year, I realized that when you when personal life changes and challenges as we age lead to certain decisions about, it will lead to certain decisions about how we treat our hair. And that's really what I was trying to get out. And this makes you personally responsible. And a lot of times we don't want to feel personally responsible for what happened to our hair. We want to blame our stylist. We want to blame our situation. We want to blame everything, but we don't want to say, well, it's me that did this to my hair. And sometimes we will, but many times we don't. For instance, you may do things that seem harmless to your hair. Sometimes you just want to feel better about yourself. So you say, I'm going to go do this or that. Sometimes you feel that you must fit into whatever season of life that you're going through. And sometimes you just want to change. You don't know why, you just want to change. The problem is that some problem with some of those reasons, because they are not well thought out, sometimes they're spontaneous, can prompt you to do things that could cause aging damage to your hair. And we don't think of our hair as aging, but it could cause aging damage. First, you must agree that how we behave in certain situations will determine what happens down the road. We have to agree on that. If we behave a certain way, this is the result of that behavior. Understanding this will allow us to have that wisdom that will help you stop, think before you act, so you pay attention when your mind sends up those red flags. Like, for example, think a minute about when you had most of your hair, I'll call them tribulations. When you had most of them, something within was the core cause of that. Something within you. And I know, you know how analytical I am, you know how deep I get, but I just want you to bear with me. I'm not trying to do pop psychology. I'm just trying to let you understand. Think about some of the things within you were the core cause. And that something was that the core cause was part of your personality, which determines your behavior. And I'm sure that psychologists can articulate this a lot better than I can. But these are things that I've discovered in my own way. So if you want to help me out, you're welcome to. If you want to criticize, you're welcome to. If you want to, whatever input, comments, suggestions. But this is something I have in my book. And I feel like, by God's grace, I've been able to do a pretty good job of connecting this and relating it to our hair, because there's so many things out here that we don't think that, indirectly, I think I may have done some destruction or destroyed my hair in a way, or I may have done some bad things. Well, your personality really drives it all, and which determines your behavior. Now, I'm not, like I said, implying that all of your hair problems are caused by your behavior. Before we go any further, I don't want you to think I'm saying that. But studies do show that hair breakage and some scalp disorders, and even some of the alopecia, balding, will stem from neglect, abuse, poor hair and scalp care habits and choices. Okay? We seem to be faced with many of these things, and they occur more and more as we age. I'm aware that there are causes for some hair and scalp problems that are beyond your control. I am so aware of that, and I would not sit here and say, oh, you're the blame of everything. But let's stick for now to the things that we can control. Let's stick with those things, okay? Because there are many things that we can control. Over the years, some have grouped all hair and scalp problems into one pile, basically, and blame their problems on anything, anybody, and others other than themselves. However, there are many ways that you personally can take charge and avoid many hair, and you know what I'm calling them, tribulations. The number one thing that you will need to do is to make adjustments. Just make some adjustments in what? Your behavior, taking control of your actions or things that occur as they relate to your hair. We have to do it with other things in our life. Why can't we do it with our hair? There are consequences, excuse me, to those spur of the moment decisions that we make. And some of you may never do that. You may just be so conservative, you just kind of do. But there are some consequences to those spur of the moment things that we do to our hair. And we want to get into that, and we want to talk about that. My computer's trying to restart. Okay. And we want to, and we may pay for it with hair damage. Understand that I am not here to take the spontaneity, I just butchered that word, out of your life and leave you with boring hair. I'm not saying that. I am actually going to teach you how to fulfill all of your hair whims, all of your wildest dreams about your hair. But most importantly, I'm going to empower you to take care of your hair safely without aging it. And our hair can age. By policing your behavior, which is what we have to do, you will have young, vibrant hair and style at any age. The number one thing that I hear from women I counsel as I'm doing their analysis, as during the time they had hair and scalp problems or hair problems, all they did was simply go into a salon one day, ask for something specific, and came out with something totally different from what they requested. In other words, they shifted the blame of their hair problem to their stylist. We do it. Now, I'm not saying the stylists don't do things wrong sometimes, but we cannot shift the blame. I am aware that many stylists make mistakes. I am totally aware, and that the clients pay for this and suffer dearly from some of those mistakes. I am aware of that. However, you have more control than you think concerning your salon visits, as well as other situations during these calamities. Once you recognize what you can do to gain control over the situation, you will lessen your hair problems, and you will be on your way to understanding how to be in charge of almost every hair situation, whether it's natural or relaxed. Gaining control will stop premature aging of your hair and scalp. Now, when we think about aging, what do we think? We think of getting weak and, fragile, older. Doesn't have to be. But people who take care of themselves as they get older, they are, vibrant, and they're excited, and they're living life to the fullest, and they look good. And that's what we can do with our hair. Our hair does age. It grows in cycles. It grows, it sheds, the follicle lies dormant, we get a new hair. But during that time of growth, our hair can age horribly. So this is it for today. I want you to get all your questions about some of the things that you think may be causing problems with aging. I want you to get those questions in for me. And please, 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 I want you to this is what I want you to do. I want you to get those questions in. I got a little something flying in front of me. And I want you to just let me know exactly how you feel about this aging damage. How do you feel about things that, what do you think you may be doing that could be causing some of the aging problems? And so this is what I want to say to you today. Get those questions in. Okay, I'm going to, instead of ending our tape, I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I learned. How did I learn to help people who are going through this whole aging of the hair problems? And then I'm going to talk about, let's see, because I'm flipping back and forth, because I think some of the things, before we go forward, and I think that I skipped some areas. Okay. First, I want to talk about what aging hair is. And so it may seem a little odd because I'm going back and flipping back a little bit. But I forgot, and I didn't include this, and I must include this. How can hair age? And I just kind of gave you a synopsis of it, but I do want to, let's see, there we go. My computer is trying to restart. We're just going to let it do what it wants to do over there. Okay, how can hair age? How can the scalp age? Well, to age, and I just gave a synopsis of that, but I'm going to go in more detail, which is in fairness to you. Well, to age means to become old, grow old, or get older. That's the definition that Webster defines aging. Aging hair and scalp means just that. Your hair grows into its own life cycle, and within each life cycle, your hair can grow old, even die before its time, which means it breaks away. When we think about older, let me get the book here, because I want to read from the book because it's concise, but it's still, I'm hitting all points. Of course, my editor made sure of that. I didn't leave anything out. And she did a beautiful job of making sure that I, like I said, didn't miss any points. So I want to read a lot from the book. Even though I wrote it, I want to read the information because I don't want you to miss anything and not become educated on it. Okay. And it's going to get a little bit of background noise because people are beginning to come in and open up the building. I'm a little late doing this vlog. Okay, we think about older. We perhaps think about our bodies becoming weaker and more fragile, as I said earlier. And now looking and feeling, and not looking and feeling as vibrant as we did when we were younger. But we know that if we stop, put together a plan for health, which many do, eating right, exercising, and just taking better care of ourselves and making sure we're nutritionally sound, body, mind, spirit, we won't become weak and fragile. We won't. and die before our time. The thrust of this book is not to talk about what happens with our body as we age, but to discuss our hair as it ages, and it can age. My purpose is to help you come to understand and to know that you are free, truly free, to choose how to wear your hair, free to choose to make a choice as a woman with curly hair, kinky hair, or a woman with chemically relaxed hair, or a woman with permanently waved hair. It doesn't matter to me. You need to be free to make that choice and to still have a healthy hair without it somehow meaning that you are assimilating or even selling out. You need to be free to do that, because sometimes when black women wear their hair straight, they're saying that they're denying who they really are. And even when white women wear curly permanent waves, they seem to be told that they're denying who they are, or who they want to be, or they lay out and get suntan. I mean, we say all these things, but really, we're just doing what we want to do, I think. I don't think people want to be somebody else. And if they do, there are people out there, counselors, that can help them with that. But as it relates to your hair, I truly think most women just wear their hair with the way they want. They look in the mirror and they're motivated. Like, I look in the mirror and I love my hair. I think, ooh, that's a good picture shot. Snap. Okay. You will learn how to keep your hair. This is what I want to teach you. How to keep your hair young and vibrant, even with changes, whether it's natural or chemical, or any age throughout your life, as well as throughout your hair's life cycles. Because the hair has cycles of life. And the great thing about the hair is it grows, it sheds away, naturally dies away, and then you get a new one. That's a beautiful thing. Our body doesn't do that. Once it dies, it's gone. Okay, we expect our hair to start graying as we age. And most of us can accept gray hair. Most of us. Sometimes when too many of my little white friends get into there with the little dark friends and it looks gray, I'm like, no. But, I know. Another topic, another lesson. Okay, or we know what we can do about it if we don't like the gray. That's right. But we wonder what our hair might look like when we approach, say, menopause. And some of you are very young and you haven't approached that menopause stage. We all fear the day when our hair might start thinning. That's a big deal for many women. What can we do? What do we do then? Studies have shown that thinning hair is one of the biggest mysteries and concerns as it relates to aging. After reading this particular guide, you will understand, and after going through this cyber reading with me, you will understand hair thinning and how you can stop the most common type of hair thinning. So stay tuned. I'm uber excited about this reading. And get my book. Go out and get it, guys, and read along with me. I want to show you how you can eliminate and even prevent negative aging process of your hair. What you learn from this book will teach you how to keep your hair and scalp looking younger until the hair completes all of its life cycles. That means until you lay down and rest and go on to glory. You can become proactive. You really can. Not just reactive. Because quite often, we just react. No. Proactive. You just want to do something about it before you have to do something about it. Make some decisions. Have some boundaries. Put a frame around it. Not in deprivation, not depriving yourself of things. You're just making some decisions and being proactive. And that's really important. and not just reactive. Because when you're reactive, you're like, oh, I'm scrounging and trying to figure it out, and what am I going to do? I'm just all over the place. Your hair and scalp can look, feel, and remain young now and for years to come. Aging hair defined. I mentioned what is aging hair. An aging hair strand is what? Dehydrated, weak, fragile, thin. And it will die before its time. Many women have hair that is aging faster than they are. They're working out, they look great, but their hair is old and fragile. They don't know what to do about it. Before reading this guide, you have probably asked yourself a question. Why read a book on aging hair? Before even hearing the first cyber reading, you probably said, what does she mean, aging hair? Some of you may have been curious, and so you said, well, I don't know what to expect. I suspect that most of you who are listening to me now and have picked up my book and have read it, just need help. Just want help. Just want help because you have hair issues and perhaps have been dealing with some level of crisis as it relates to your hair most of your life. And we want to put an end to that. Now, that you're getting older, you may feel a sense of urgency because most believe that aging means suffering from some level of hair loss. When I have patients come in and they're over 30, not 40 or 50, but mostly it's 40, 50s, and 60s and 70s. It's just your age. They've been told that. But that's not necessarily true. I've got 90-year-old patients with full heads of hair. 80-year-old patients. My mom has a full head of hair, and she's in her 70s. So, no, it doesn't necessarily mean that. So, if you want help, help is here. You know I'm here. You're here, doctor. Don't look for any magic cure-alls. You know, I don't believe in that. Special ointments, some potions or concoctions. Although I do recommend personally my products. I do. But I know you will, and you will need products. My products are safe and reliable. Did I just do a commercial? Oops. Okay. Well, we'll get off of that. But I take a different point of view that is extremely powerful. It's empowering, and I think it's very important. My view derives from counseling and from treating the hair, conducting studies, treating the hair of thousands of women, conducting studies to prove theories that I have about why the hair age, why we lose hair. This guide, this type of reading, is about approaching hairstyling not as a way to style some fibers and make it look pretty. Not at all. But as a way of caring for our hair, loving our hair into place, understanding that hair is an important appendage of our scalp. Thinking about it this way makes you realize that your hair is a living part of you. I know hair is dead fiber. You don't have to type and say, hey, it's just dead protein. I know that. But it's a living part of you. See? To the body. You may be thinking, is hair that serious? I know that you think that. Do I need to get that deep with it? The answer is yes. Yes. Hair, although a dead substance, and it is so important to us that it seems to really take over our life in some cases. And it seems to take on a life of its own. Our hair has the ability to determine and dictate our mood. It does. My hair, have you ever been like, oh, my hair is just driving me crazy? You said that. The good news is that you can personally stop the negative aging process of your hair and scalp. I understand that you are going through. I understand what you're going through. And I will enlighten you to view your hair in a way that you may have never viewed it before. Many of you have looked at your hair and thought that now that I'm getting older, it is time for my hair to get older. And you just have not accepted the fact, and you just have to accept the fact of life because you're aging. But remember, hair grows in cycles. A hair grows, it gets old, it sheds off, you get a new baby. That's the beauty of it. God is awesome. God made it that way. But I'm here to tell you that you do not have to accept aging hair. You can change the so-called predetermined outcome, because you can take control and change what seems to be inevitable by building a special relationship with your hair in order to stop damaging and aging effects on your hair. Okay? So I wanted to go back to read that part because I felt like I just skipped it. I don't know why I skipped it, but I did skip it. Real freedom begins with your mind. And we're going to talk about that. Your personality. What decisions I make daily with my hair. Do I neglect? Do I say, oh, I just don't feel like it. I just don't want to do this. My hair is doing all kinds of things here. And I almost went through the whole video without touching it. Anyways, but we do all these things. We neglect. Our hair needs very little amount of our time in order to be vibrant, beautiful, young, long. Look, I am getting so incredibly long. One day I'm going to straighten this hair out so you can see it. But I'm excited about the book. If you don't have it, it's Every Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair at Any Age. I love you. To God be the glory in Jesus. I am going to see you next Thursday, and I promise not to skip. I will be here next Thursday, and we will Thursday, and we will continue. I want to talk to you a little bit about how did I learn to help people. What did I do? How did I learn to help people? I also want to look at, before making the hair change, what you should do. And then we're going to get into preventing aging of your hair and scalp, which is what you want. So, I will see you next week, right here on Ask the Hair Doctor. Have a great day. I love you, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.